Greetings and welcome to your August readings for the collective. If you are new here, these are done by zodiac element signs. So for this month, we go in the order of water signs, fire signs, air signs, and earth signs. As always, you should just listen to the entire reading because there are tons of messages for the collective and the signs kind of intertwine and overlap. Also, our charts are made up of all of the elements. If you choose to just listen to your sun sign, I would also encourage you to at least listen to your rising sign as well. And if you're looking for some specific advice, you can look at the house or the planet that rules that and then see what element you have for that one. So if you have any questions, you can always drop a comment and I can help you figure it out. If not, let's just get into it with our August readings again in the order of water, fire, air, and earth. All right. Hello, water signs. Happy belated Cancer birthdays. And we also have Pisces and Scorpio. Okay. So I love this. I love this Ace of Wands, this new beginning energy that's coming with the first of the month. I'm a firm believer that we can wake up every day and have a new beginning. We can start a new day, a new beginning, any moment of the day, right? But there's always something fresh about like the first of the month, right? And so this is just like reiterating that energy of like, saying like it's a new beginning, it's a fresh start. What am I passionate about? What am I excited about? Like, what do I want to fucking work on right now? And then just like it feels like excitement, right? So we have this energy of Leo season. If you haven't already, go listen to the Leo season readings that's come in. We have Mercury that's stationed direct. I know we hear about that all the time, but a lot of people had a lot of relationship upheavals during this time. We also had Saturn go retrograde, which happens often, but there's a lot more energy around it this year, and there's a lot more talk about it this year, right? And then we had this Aquarius full moon. So it just feels like it's like water signs. It's like, this is the month, this is the time to like have excitement again about things. Lean into things that are fun. Like there's a difference between like being scattered and, trying all these different things and not knowing where to land and, doing too much and having our hand in the basket, too many baskets, and waking up every day and say like, what would feel really good for me today? What is something that would excite me today? Man, this is very specific. I keep hearing like, I've been thinking about some, what's it called? Like a beignet? Excuse me. It's like some dessert they're showing me. It's like, I've been thinking about that forever. You know what? I think I can make that. That's what I'm going to do today, this afternoon when I have a couple hours. I'm going to make this because that sounds like fun and it sounds tasty and that feels good to me. Or, man, I've really been wanting to go out and see those sunflowers. I'm going to make the time to go see like where the sunflowers have bloomed and take some cute pictures, right? So I could give so many examples of things like that, but Spirit is like, this month, take the time, even if you're just setting it aside to like, okay, I know on Saturdays, I always have a window of a couple hours. What is it that I've been looking forward to all week that I can go do? It's like this idea of like something that's fun and exciting and kind of just like sets like those middle chakras, the sacral, the solar, like, on fire, right? Like this feels good. Wands energy is fire energy. It's passion. It's creativity. I said that at 234 on my timer. I love the way that this is depicted too, because it shows, it's like the third eye, right? Like it's all of the color. It almost looks like a little womb on the third eye, but it's all those colors of the lower chakras, but it's over the third eye as in like, I'm following my intuition. I'm allowing myself to be guided. This deck is the Light Seers deck. It is by Chris Ann, who I absolutely adore. And sometimes I like to read out of her book because she writes it like an oracle card. So let's read about it. The ace contains all the sparks for all the ideas, and they're all generating intensely powerful light for you right now. She's connecting with you, the one cosmic mind, a universal consciousness, and her delightfully magic soup that is brimming with colossal creativity. A flame burns here that is meant for you, but it hasn't been put to use yet. What will you create with this boundless potential? Stay open to receive inspiration and insight. You may be shown new information about your divine purpose or soul path, or you may even feel compelled to put something completely new into the world. If it feels good, it probably is good, and even though this ace can only predict the inception of something new, it also suggests that all of the energy to bring this project, idea, or feeling to a successful completion is available in you. I seed my brilliant future with the roots of creativity and inspiration. So sometimes I like to read out of the books because I feel like there's a second message that needs to be put out there. And I feel like that was a really great message of, kind of where I was going with the third eye and how it's like the creative endeavor. So I feel like I spoke this over to some people last month or the beginning of Leo season, where it's like, if there's a passion project that you have that you've been wanting to build and you've been ready to do that, like start to plant the seed, right? Like maybe it's like, I found a location for this business, or I found a partner to host a class with, or I pulled the trigger and I, decided to download and pay for this Canva Express or whatever, this fancy, thing that I can actually invest in. That way I can make my journals or whatever I wanted to make. So it just feels like water sign. This is a good month for creativity and planting seeds and playing in things that feel good and being spirit led. And I hear one more message. It's like, yesterday I was walking to my car. I was working on something for a new event. And then I was headed to a similar event. And in my parking lot, which is a parking garage, I found a very large, like 6-7 inch brown and white feather. I've only ever found one other feather in all the years I've lived here in that parking garage. And I don't just pass it by, right? I pick it up. I have a moment with it. I say, thank you, Spirit. I think about what the brown means. I think about what the white means. I think about how that is a sign that I'm on the right path, that I'm spirit led, that I'm grounded in the work that I'm doing, all of these things, right? And I say all that, and then I left the feather so somebody else would maybe find it. But I say all that to say, like, use those little inspirations, those aha moments, those beautiful little interactions, lean into them, right? Like, I hear all the time on some Abraham Hicks, it'll be like, sometimes like a bee is just a bee, right? It doesn't mean anything. But, sometimes a bee is a sign from spirit, medicine coming for you. For me, it's a sign with one of my friends that's in spirit, right? To me, it's a connection that I also have with another friend who's going through grief, right? It's kind of something we bonded over. So sometimes a bee is just a bee, but most of the time a bee is something different to me, So see the little, Spirit says, see the little signs, pick up on them. Also build your language with spirit. If you have somebody in spirit and you want there to be a sign from them, make it, right? Have something that when you see that, it's that person speaking to you, it's that person connecting with you. Or, say you're needing a helper or something on a situation and you go for a walk. You say, okay, Spirit, I'm going to go for this walk. I really need a sign. If this is the right choice, show me this, right? I'll never forget. I did that once. I said, show me a snake. I ain't never seen no snake where I live. I was being real hard. I turned the corner and what's the first thing I see? Graffiti all over the wall that literally looks like a snake. I thought, you're so good, Spirit. That's so funny. Another time I said, let me see a cat. I didn't see a cat. I see one cat around here before. You know what happened? Right when I got back to my apartment, I looked up and there was a giant Mizzou tiger sign. A tiger is a cat. And again, I kind of laughed because Spirit was like, we're going to give you the sign. We just had to figure out how to do it in a different way, right? So anyways, water signs, I love you so much. Again, happy belated birthday, Cancers. Woohoo, that was me back in June. And Scorpio and Pisces, have a beautiful, wonderful, full of inspired, just everyday, everything. August. All right, fire signs. Happy birthday, Leo. We also have Sagittarius and Aries. Welcome to August. Maybe it's just because it is Leo season and we're in the summertime, but August just feels like a very fiery month to me. So for this month, we have the 8 of Pentacles. I love the depiction. I should say love the depiction of this card because I love how it's her facing forward. It's her facing all of these things. It's all these divination tools. We have the candles, we have the books. Look at, oh my gosh, that's so funny, you guys. I was just talking about the feather in a previous reading, and there's literally a feather in this card that looks just like the one I found. We have like some sound bowls, just some bones, and then we have this whole moon cycle, and she's looking at this, and she's determined, and she's focused, right? So, what's interesting too is the card after this for the next sign was the 9 of Pentacles, but the 8 of Pentacles, this is very much about mastering a skill. This person, it's about patience. Okay, hear me out, fire. It's a time for patience. It's a time for determination. It's a time for remembering your soul's plan, your soul's journey, your soul's purpose. And also on that note, we write that. I had a conversation with somebody this week about, they said, quote unquote, God's plan. And I was trying to have a very open-minded conversation about, so, let's say if somebody's like always wanted a kid and no matter what, they can't have a kid in vitro, they could even adopt wherever. So you're saying something that's been a desire that's been in this person's heart for their entire life. It was according to quote unquote, God's plan that they can't have this kid. Then they just have to deal with it. Right. That is something that I will never agree with, because I think that we 110% have full say in our quote unquote soul's plan, in the journey of our soul, and the things that we're going to be doing, and the things that are for us. I've said this many of times. I heard once many years ago, Oprah had the author of Chicken Soup for the Soul on, and he said something along the lines of, if there is a desire or a want and something in your heart, it would not be there if it was not able for you to obtain it. Now, we could paint that 100 different ways and come up with all these different reasons or excuses about how that couldn't be a good thing or how that wouldn't make sense. It's funny, I'm getting a lot of like naysayer energy right now. And I said that at 222 on my timer, but we're not going to do that here, right? Because again, I'm getting this thought of, don't tell other people about your ideas until they're in fruition, until they're there, right? So this feels also very specific that like maybe we talk to somebody about things we're passionate about, we're excited about, whether it's our spiritual journey, whether it's spiritual experiences, whether it's just things we want to do in life, whether it's grand ideas we have, whether it's things we want to move forward and work. And it's not met with the same energy because it's not for them. The Spirit is saying, keep these things to yourself and be passionate about them to yourself, because this energy of other people coming in and trying to knock you down or just not understanding or not getting, it's not helping your cause, they're saying, right? So you need to and if you need to talk about these things, there are people that will feed that energy back to you, that will be passionate, that will be excited, right? So like, whatever this Eight of Pentacles energy is working towards, whether again, it's a spiritual practice, an actual project, a life that you're building, whatever it is, that you're being patient and you're determined and you're moving forward, make sure that you have the right people on your team. Make sure that when you're moving forward, you have the people with you that are going to walk side by side with you and lift your hand up and cheer with you when you do good, right? So I feel like this was kind of a message that was spoken over somebody recently too. But it's also a card about being patient, right? And you're asking to trust, you're being asked to trust the process and to know, they're showing like the Libra scales, right? To know that everything is always working out for you when you truly believe that and when you know that to be the truth. Again, this is why we cannot have the naysayers. We cannot have those negative energies coming in. Whenever you're having these thoughts of, I don't know if this is going to work, or, this is my suggestion. You put on something motivational, listen to it, change your frequency. When we listen to something motivational or when we read a book, it's not necessarily like, we pull an oracle card or whatever. We ask Spirit for a sign. It's not necessarily to fix something for eternity, right? It's really about that moment and getting some sort of reassurance in that moment and allowing yourself to feel better in that moment, because that right there is what shifts your vibration. And that is what is most important, right? So when we're having any doubts that we're not on the right path or we're not moving fast enough and we have that, that fire energy that's like, I just want to go, take a breath, calm down, pull a card, be redirected, get back in your body, have some stillness. Let's go ahead and read, just because we read for the other one about, and from Chris Ann's little oracle book, to see what she says about this card. And I like to do this just again to see if there's any like extra messages that come through. Maybe there's something very specific written in here that you need to hear. Excuse me for my my water break. All right. Patience and determination are the best ways to ensure your success. Mastering this skill takes time and perseverance, and shortcuts are not the best path forward as you build your experience. Fire signs. Remain dedicated to excellence and to developing your unique form. Study, practice, improve, and thrive. Put your Merkaba, your love, your soul, and your energetic essence into your work and bring it into a consistent methodical way. Perfect your craft and imbue joy. She uses some fancy words. Into the y'all, I teach college. I teach literal research courses for senior level classes in college, and I don't think I've ever seen the word imbue joy. Imbue, I-M-B-U-E, fascinating. Finding flow in the details, no matter what it is that you find yourself dedicated to. If you know it's time to move on to something more inspiring, find your plan to do so. Consistent action is called for, and often we feel blocked right before we expand into the new levels. It's okay to be imperfect as you learn. As you become the master, find the joy in self-improvement to help you get there. With loving determination, I persevere and I become the person I long to be. All right. Happy August. Have a beautiful, abundant, wonderful, just in alignment month, fire signs. Happy birthdays to my Leo and also Aries and Sagittarius. All right. Hello, air signs. We have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So like always, these cards kind of build on each other. And it's interesting because the card before this was the 8 of Pentacles, and now we're at the 9 of Pentacles. And like always, I wish I remembered what your cards were in the last 2 previous collective readings, because I can feel the energy being kind of similar. So I love this card. I love this deck. It's funny because I wanted to use the Star Tarot deck that I love. And I saw my spirit said, use this deck. And I said, no, I want to use the Star Tarot deck. And then I started to shuffle it, and I literally could not stop seeing this deck. So I knew I had to use this deck. And I know that that always happens because it has to do with the imagery, right? So usually in the 9 of Pentacles, it's just a different depiction, right? So I love the depiction of how this is, because I love that she's excited. She's like reaching up and she's holding on to this, and the bird's off of it, and she's like looking at it with such joy. So in the original Rider deck, it's more of like a contentment where she's like standing and facing forward and looking at them. And this is like, I just love that this seems more joyous, right? This seems more excitement. I love the white dress. It seems like there's just a little more like, it's not just material satisfaction between the white dress and the white bird. It feels a lot more like spiritual satisfaction. Also, I didn't realize these are all dried herbs that are hanging with that. That's very interesting. So I feel like that might be a message for somebody or something that has to do with like all the herbs that are down here too. So maybe you work with herbs, maybe you're thinking about working with herbs, maybe you're, being drawn to like medicinal medicine, but I feel like that's an after message. And also all of the green in the card, it just feels very like earthly, like nutrients, like I'm needing like nurturing to my body with natural things that grow from the earth, even if it's like sitting in the grass and being around all of the green. And I'm hearing like embrace all of the green outside and all of that new, beautiful, flourishing growth, and let that energy kind of like fill you and be content. When you live in places that have different seasons, a lot of people embrace the fall and the things dying, and then they embrace the winter of there being nothing, and they embrace the spring of things growing back. But this feels very much like air signs. Like right now we need to be embracing the lush, like fruition of everything, right? Like if you're in the Midwest, right? Like this is the fullest bloom of everything. It's so green and pretty and this and that. And like, this is what this card means, right? This card is literally like, celebrate your success, celebrate your giant harvest. Like you are content. Like again, I can't stop thinking about like this. I think that's not even an owl. I don't know what that is, but the white and how there's like a spiritual accent. There is a spiritual part of this, of like sitting with spirit and like acknowledging like your connection to the divine, acknowledging your part, that you're, part of something bigger, acknowledging your knowledge of these things is really coming through. Let's see what she says in her book. Let me find it. Okay. Those moments when everything feels a bit brighter. You are reaching one of those moments, a culmination of hard work and desire, when you are stepping into your manifested hopes. These moments of spiritual and material bliss are highly personal and serve, oh, look at that. She said in spiritual bliss. That's crazy. These moments of spiritual and material bliss are highly personal and serve as funnels of glowing success. Look for this feeling as it surges in your heart and use its power to move mountains, spread love, and enjoy your harvest. Go ahead and bask. You deserve it. Spending some time alone will help you process your progress. Then celebrate. In shadows, this card suggests you may be working too hard and not seeing enough in return. Examine feelings of self-worth and look at your energy balances in and out. The rewards must always equal your energy whatever that word means. It means how much you put out. And if you sense an imbalance, then it's time to make amends. This harmony and harvest you seek are in front of you. So I think that's a big part of the message, is that balance part at the end, but also it feels like a message of gratitude, right? And like, I had a really beautiful interaction with a friend yesterday, and I got a medical bill, a random bill from like dermatologist, nothing fancy, a couple $100. And I went to pay it immediately. And I thought, I had this moment of just gratitude and overwhelmment, and it made me emotional. And I thought, how lucky am I that I can get a $200 bill and I can just pay it and I don't have to worry about it. I'm so grateful. I was so grateful. At one point in my life, in my late 20s, I was hustling so hard, working 7 jobs and, teaching full time in grad school. Dad just died, starting my own business, still waiting tables. And I would literally think, well, if I pick up a shift on Tuesday night, I can make at least $40 to pay my electric bill. I can eat a salad and a potato for dinner for free when I'm there and take one to go for half the lunch tomorrow. That was the life I was living. So there was a lot of mindset shifting for me, which is a whole other reading conversation. But that used to be me. And then now it's, I get a $200 bill. I can pay. I don't have to worry. And then not even an hour later, I had a friend who messaged me who had done some work for me, that I had hired to do some work for me. And, they had the same moment. They said, you have no idea how grateful I am that I just went to pay a bill and I don't have to worry about it. And I thought, that's crazy. I had the same feeling an hour ago. We're having the same experience parallel to each other, right? Also hello from spirit to know that this person and me are on such a beautifully aligned path together that we're working in sync. That's like an extra nod to it, right? And I say all that to say pay attention to that shit. I said that earlier in these other readings, that shit is not coincidence, you guys. I heard the most beautiful Abraham Hicks that I've never heard before. And this guy was basically saying he was visiting his dad's grave after he died, and a little poodle came up to him, and the poodle had his dad's name, and it was not a normal name. It was like Albert or something random, not like a John, it was not a normal dog name. And it was are you kidding me? That's crazy. And then 10 years later, this guy's in a coffee shop and another poodle walks up to him and starts licking him. And he says to his buddy, what are the odds this is his name? The dog's name was Junior, which was his dad's nickname. And Abraham's laughing and she's like, duh, that's how spirit works. What? She's like, why are you guys surprised? You asked for these signs and you put your places, it's out there. As soon as you put it out there, it's out there. And then it just happens. If you trust the process and you believe and you literally look for it and wait, you know what I mean? So just a lot of inspiring messages in the last couple of parts of this about that connection to spirit. And it doesn't even have to be in a woo-woo magical way. It can be in a very grounded, tangible way. But everything is always working out in your favor, and everything is, once you put it out there, everything is conspiring to work out for you. It's not the opposite. Everything is always conspiring to work out for you and exactly how you need it and how you want it. Air signs, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, have a wonderfully, beautifully inspired, connected to spirit in the earth, and enjoy your month of August. Toodles. All right, earth signs. I love how the energy of this has shifted. We started off with the Ace of Wands. Now we're ending with the Four of Swords. Very different energy, right? So again, we are at earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. This is literally how I hear it in my head. Just it's just time to take a rest and do some healing and do some work on self and allow our heart to have some space to just rest. But look at her face. She's in contentment. Okay, I'm going to pull this forward so we can see. She is not in distress. She is not unhappy. She is not sad. She is resting in the fetal position, right? And I teach restorative yoga, and I always think about how the fetal position is one of the most restorative, calming, nurturing positions we can be in, right? And because when we come out of it, it's like a rebirth. And also, she's literally in like a nest, right? She's put herself in this nest so she can rest and breathe and slow her mind down and take care of her heart, literally mend her heart. There's not usually a heart in this picture, right? Again, the way that the cards always have the messages in them is part of the reading. She's chosen to be here, to rest, recoup. She's being held. She's being nurtured. This is a safe place that somebody has built for her, right? She's mending her heart. She's at peace. And then when she is ready, she will come out a new person, right? So there's so many different beautiful depictions of this card. And a four, it's about stability, structure, the four legs of a table or of a chair. It's about, building that. And so Spirit says, in order to be able to move forward in the best way, this is the energy we need right now, because this is part of what is helping us build. I tried to go on a trip this summer, and I live in the Midwest in the summertime, and I have all these places I wanted to go and travel before I relocate back to the desert for a long time. And I got very ill, and it was very strange, and all this shit happened, and I had to come home, and I literally thought, okay, it's not now. None of these places are going anywhere. What I need to be doing with these next 2 months is this. I need to be calm, stable, healing, nurturing, taking care of myself so I can make it to the next step. And then when the time comes, all of these beautiful things will come to fruition, and all these experiences and these adventures and these things I want to do, they're going to be there. And it's going to be better and more enjoyable because I took the time to do this, and I will be at 110% when I go, not 65. Okay. It's the same story. I know it's hard, earth signs, because we have this ambition and we have this drive and we want to get things done and we like things to be done a certain way. And it's like, we have like, it's like this push pull between like the head and the heart and like what direction to take. And it seems out of pocket and unnatural and counterintuitive and all those things to do this. But again, sometimes this is the most productive thing to do. It can be more productive to sit and meditate for 10 minutes on the frequency of abundance and receiving and money and all the greatness than it can be to go hustle for 3 hours, try to make money. Because again, a repeated message, it's all about the way we feel. It's all about what we're putting out. You cannot look at downtime or rest as something negative. You cannot look at that slow time. You have to reframe your mind as to this is healing. I said that at 333 on my timer. Let's go ahead and find just because I've read for all the other ones, let's do it for this one too. The I have to find it in the book, 4 of Swords. This is probably so far my absolute favorite 4 of Swords that I've ever seen. It's such a beautiful depiction. Okay. This deep resting period in your life marks a moment of intentional healing and self-care, more than just integral to your wellness. You guys like how I just randomly decide how to read words? It's funny, isn't it? More than just whatever to your wellness. It is the same to your being at this time. Body, mind, and spirit. How you heal is your choice, and you can find quiet regeneration through sleep or restorative practices like meditation, journaling, energy healing, etc. Consciously deciding to slow down and process before sprinting ahead. The hustle can be tumultuous and demanding, and the only person who can really direct your own radical recovery is you. Tend to your wounds, as you may be on the verge of burnout. Your nest will grow around you as you sleep, and the landscape of your life will shift beautifully as you fall into your own rejuvenating energy. In your dream state, you will transmute and transform your experiences and emerge renewed, whole, and ready to rise. But first you must rest. Sweet dreams, sweet chickadee. I give myself permission to slow down and heal. And on the notion of dreams, you can ask for signs from your spirit team, your divine spirit team, your guides through your dreams. You can ask them to come work on you and energetically cleanse and clear you or mend a wound or a broken heart or whatever while you sleep. And just make sure when you're doing that, you're doing it you're setting the intention in the aftermath, and let me wake up refreshed and feeling good and great. But that is a really great practice. And also I'm going to share another practice somebody taught me once, and it was imagining like closing down all of our chakras at night and imagining the third eye being a little purple butterfly and watching it float away and just sitting on the dresser for safekeeping, as like giving your body permission to be still and to not be active while you sleep. And one more thing I was taught was some people, and I feel like this, some people, maybe you feel like somebody needs to hear this. You feel like you sleep, but you're not rested. And this used to happen to me when I was at the beginning of my spiritual journey, and it was almost like my soul was off, doing work while I was asleep in the ethers, and I wasn't waking up rested. So I would literally put like an energetic cage around my body and like tether my higher self down, so I wasn't off doing that. So I was waking up rested. So hopefully that is a piece of helpful information for somebody. So anyways, earth sign, take a breath. I actually just made a yoga playlist and right now all I have is some informative videos on there. If you're seeing this before the end of August, I might have some of my restorative classes on there that I've recorded, but have not checked back because they are really great practices just to get you to slow down. because that's what you need to do. We all have to slow down sometimes. Earth signs, I love you so very much. My favorite, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. As always, thank you so much for being here. If you haven't yet, make sure that you check out my Leo season readings, and I appreciate any likes, subscribes, or shares. Happy August.